Today I have got my Lego City update for February 2026, and we've got quite a few new additions to the city, as well as some changes to the city, and just some additions to the Lego collection in general, as one of the planned additions to the city didn't pan out as I had hoped, so it's just an overall addition to Lego collection at this point, just because I don't know where I'm going to put this. And we'll just get that out of the way first, as it's kind of the most expensive, newest addition to the collection recently, as the end of January, but it didn't make it into the January update. I was kind of on a bit of a Lego building craze, so I spent the last Friday night of January doing the piece together process and building of the Temple of Doom set that I got from my Bricks and Minifigs, which everything was there except for, of course, the instructions, which was great. Only problem is the original plan for it was to actually put it right next to my train track and have it kind of sticking out of the train tunnel. But due to there not being any straights in this set, and those track pieces being exclusive to the set and relatively hard to get now that the set's 17 years old, I don't know where I'm going to put this set. So right now it's just kind of over on this table here. So that's what is going on with that. And then as for the donut shop here, the expanded one that I expanded before we got the modular police station in 2021, I might actually put this back onto a half base plate, of course with an 8x16 plate and a 16x16 plate underneath it first, and then on one of the green 16x32 base plates. But what I might end up doing is putting that right there, because I need a half base plate building next to my fire station if I do intend to keep the fire station over here. And then we need a 1.5 setup next to the corner garage. So need that. And then also a half base plate on the other side to basically just even it out. So that's kind of the plan there. Though I am thinking of just moving Assembly Square over to this side, because if I do that, it'll save me quite a bit of space, because I do plan to get the X Mansion for the city, because that's retiring at the end of the year or before, since I've got all the other Marvel modulars and superhero modulars in general. Because we've got Sanctum, we've got the Bugle, got the Avengers Tower, recently built Arkham Asylum, which is one of the new additions for this month. So, kind of got to get the X Mansion as well, which personally, that was one that I wasn't a big fan of when it came out. That's why I've held off on it till basically the very last minute. Love the Sanctum. Love the Daily Bugle. Avengers Tower was alright. if I had to wait on it, I was going to, but double points and getting enough to cover it basically for Christmas was basically a done deal for it. And so ended up getting that way earlier than expected. So just happy to have it. And then we've got one of the major additions that I was able to get done for February, which this wasn't actually planned to be in the city update for February until next month for March. And we've got the 2026 modular, which is Shopping Street in its planned spot between the Palace Cinema and the police station, which I'll give you guys a closer shot of that in the March city update, mainly because the major additions and changes for February are all on the outside areas of the tables. So that's why I'm not doing the shots from the standing hole for the city for this month. But one of the other major changes that I did was I actually slid Diagon Alley back. So it's now on the back half or so of the other side of the layout, which allows me to put the proper road in on that section. So I've got it all spaced out. Just need to get the road drawn in on that section. That's where the 1.5 base plate section comes in on the one side, and then the extra on the other side next to the fire station, just to get the measurements right, because it's going to be 3 base plates by let's see, well, it's going to be 3 by 4 base plates around Diagon Alley, and then basically 3.5 by 3.5 for the fire station area here on the front. Measurements could be a little off here on the front. Might be 3.5 by 2.5. But that's the planned setup that I've got set. Originally did have Diagon Alley set to be on the front, but after shuffling a couple of buildings, I wasn't too happy with the setup and having Diagon Alley on the front section, especially with the fact that I can still get to it with it being on the back half. So I just moved it to the back. So pretty happy with that setup. And then the major thing that we added for this month that I'm really happy with, and this is probably permanent, is we added in Arkham Asylum, and I added in a bunch of my own Batman references, mostly based off the original Lego Batman video game from 2008, which there is one that I can't add, which kind of irks me, and that's mainly on Lego's part for not doing this minifig ever outside of the video games, and that's Mad Hatter. He's the only Lego Batman villain out of the main video game that has never appeared in any of the Lego sets. Granted, he has a reference in the set, but he's never appeared as an actual minifig. And he's the only one out of the 15 villains, or the 15 levels, I should say, because it's less than 15 villains in the game, but out of the 15 levels, he's the only one that isn't included in this set or can be added to the set to complete it, because I've got all the other ones that could be added, at least in one way or another. Still need to actually add my Man-Bat and Killer Moth to this scene, so that's planned for sometime down the road if I do want to pluck them out of my amusement park. But overall, really happy with how this comes along with adding the diner on the end. So, a year in the making on this planning, and this looks absolutely great. So, don't know what's going to go here. I might just expand the fence build from Arkham Asylum along this side and just do more broken sidewalk and stuff like that. But other than that, I don't know what's going to go here. But I think the road is pretty much set to be done here. Or I might just leave it blank because it's Arkham Asylum and it's all broken up anyway. So I might just leave it blank. But that's kind of the thing that I've done on this section of the city. No real changes for the residential area. It's still quite a mess. So that's kind of what I've got for this month's city update. So you guys can tell me your thoughts on this video in the comment section below, because I will do more in the future.